Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What is good, y'all? It's your man, Hezo. Welcome back into the Blacktop. Man, so I got a topic on my mind that's been kind of a hot topic. It's been trending on Twitter and everything the last, couple weeks because of my man, Jeff Teague. Now, if y'all don't know, Jeff Teague, I don't know if it's his own podcast or whatever, but he's on a podcast, and he's a funny-ass storyteller. He's a legendary storyteller. The stuff he be saying about what happened throughout his career is hilarious. But I got one thing on my mind in particular that he said on one of the episodes when he was talking about James Harden. And if you don't know, he said that James Harden is better than Dwyane Wade. And I got an issue with that. Now, if y'all enjoy this type of basketball content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We do all types of NBA content over here. Drop a like on the video. Let's get right into it. Listen, man, this D-Wade slander is got to stop. D-Wade is a top 5 shooting guard of all time, top 3 in most people's eyes, and that's not a debate. James Harden is nowhere near D-Wade. I'm sorry. It's just a fact. When you look at the totalities of these two guys' careers, I guess it depends on what you value more. If you just like a high-profile isolation scorer who is never able to get it done, who is in multiple great situations, who always choked in the playoffs multiple times in elimination games, James Harden just can't be compared to D-Wade. It's silly to me that so many young cats out there want to just disrespect D-Wade. And I know Jeff Teague's older than I am. I don't know what he was on. I watched D-Wade carry a Miami Heat team to a championship in 2006 when they were down 0-2, backs against the wall, and this dude went just bananas, man. He looked like he was possessed. Averaged like 37 a game over the next 4 games to win 4 straight against Dirk in the Mavs to win in 6 games. Now, people always want to say, oh, he had Shaq. Come on, man. Shaq was not the version of himself that he was when he played with Kobe. Was he still a great player? Yes, he was still good. Was he still an all-star? Yes, but he was not the Shaq that we saw with Kobe in LA. Shaq only averaged about 13 points in that NBA Finals, and D-Wade put that Heat team on his back and carried them to a championship. Something that I've never seen James Harden do. I've never seen him do it in an entire series the way that D-Wade did it. Now, listen, man. Harden has had his great series. He's played well in many series. But too many times in elimination games, James Harden has came up short and folded under the spotlight. And there's 3 in particular that I want to kind of touch on for just a moment. And I got them right here because I did my research, you feel me, before I came on here spitting and then, what I'm saying, and giving y'all facts before y'all want to fact check me. Let's talk about 2015. Game 5. They were down what? 3-1 against the Warriors. And James Harden had 14 points and shot 2 for 11 with, I think, 11 turnovers it was. Or, I'm sorry, 12 turnovers. 12 turnovers in Game 5. In an elimination game. Where is there a comparison here? Okay, that's not enough for you? Okay. Let's fast forward to 2017. Western Conference Semifinals. Game 6. Against San Antonio. No Kawhi Leonard. Keep in mind, Kawhi Leonard, he missed Game 6. I don't know why. I can't remember. It was a while ago. James Harden, 10 points. 2 for 11. 2 for 9 from the field, 6 turnovers in a blowout loss. Not just a loss, they scored 75 points as a team in the modern day NBA. A team with James Harden led, scored 75 points in an elimination playoff game. D-Wade could never. Okay, that's still not enough? Let's talk about 2018, Western Conference Finals, up 3-2 against the juggernaut Golden State Warriors. No Chris Paul, I understand all that. But the infamous 27 straight missed threes in this game. James Harden was a part of that. He shot 2 for 18 from 3 ball. Yeah, 32 points, whatever it was. 2 for 13 from the 3. 9 turnovers in that game. These are not made up numbers, man. This is all in elimination game. Now, I pinpointed those 3 because those are 3 significant games in the middle of James Harden's prime when he was winning scoring titles, when he won his MVP. I point those out because James Harden has had the talent over the course of his NBA career and has never been able to get it done. He has now played with 3 MVP players and never could even get to an NBA Finals other than when he was a 6-man with OKC when he was coming off the damn bench. Come on, man. What are we talking about? He had Kevin Durant in his prime at his peak. He had Russell Westbrook damn near at his peak. He had Joel Embiid, who just won MVP. Now, I know Harden was not the player that he has been with Houston and everything. This past year when Joel Embiid won MVP. But the fact that he can't even get to an NBA Finals, I understand that he had to go through those Warriors teams. But he was up 3-2 against Golden State, that juggernaut team. And he was part of the reason why they lost that game. They only lost by 9. If James Harden plays better, doesn't turn the ball over, makes some shots, they probably win that game and advance to the NBA Finals. But he didn't, man. The reality is James Harden does not come through when it matters the most. And I don't care what y'all say. You can fact check. I just gave y'all 3 of the games. That's only 3 of them. There's many more. There's many other situations where James Harden has not came up and came through and showed out when he was needed. Does he have his games where he does? Sure. Not in elimination games. Very, very rarely in an elimination game does James Harden actually show up, put the team on his back, and say, get out the way, give me the ball, I'm going to take us to the promised land. D-Wade has done that. He did that in 2006 and carried that team to the finals. He has 2 other championships. Now, I understand that he played with LeBron. I get all that. But in 2011, let's keep in mind, D-Wade was not the reason why the Heat lost that championship to the Dallas Mavericks. D-Wade was the best player on that team in that finals, that performance. I'm not saying on the way to the finals. I'm not saying that season because that was clearly LeBron. But in that finals for the Heat, Dwyane Wade was the best player. Now I understand Dwyane Wade doesn't have a regular season MVP. I understand he doesn't have the scoring titles that James Harden does. But if you value defense, like a lot of people do, James Harden, we all know he does not play no defense. D-Wade is a 2-time, 3-time All-NBA defender, 3-time All-NBA defender, while being an 8-time All-NBA player, as opposed to James Harden, no All-Defense, 7-time All-NBA player. And we can all probably agree that James Harden is probably not going to make another All-NBA team. He's pushing 34 years old. If he's not already 34, he's slowed down. He's clearly at the end of his towards the end of his run. He's still going to be a productive player, all-star caliber player, going forward. But he's no longer an all-NBA guard in the NBA. So he's not catching D-Wade, with that extra all-NBA appearance. You can say what you want about he has 3 scoring titles. D-Wade got 1. I'm aware that he averaged 36, the 1 year. But come on, man. I get it. He's a better three-point shooter, all that stuff, but we don't only value, at least over here, I don't only value scoring. I value a little bit of everything. Now, I'm not saying you have to be an all-time great defender, you feel me, to be mentioned with the all-time greats. But in my opinion, James Harden's not a top 5 shooting guard of all time. And that's just my opinion. You can disagree, you can dispute that, whatever you want, but he's not better than D-Wade. He's not better than Allen Iverson, my guy, and he's not better than Tracy McGrady. And I don't care what nobody says. You put a peak James Harden up against a peak T-Mac or a peak AI, I'm sorry, he's not shining their shoes. That's just how I feel. James Harden is a foul merchant who needs to get to the free throw line, who plays isolation basketball, and that style of play will never win. And Kobe said it himself. Yes, it looks good. He puts up a whole bunch of numbers, puts up a whole bunch of scoring stats and everything like that, gets a bunch of assists, but his style of play never won. And Kobe said it himself, and you could check the clip.
James Harden, of course, crazy streak this season. What do you think of what he's doing right now?
Well, I think I'm not a fan of in terms of winning championships. I don't think that style is ever going to win championships. But at the same time, you have to keep your team's head above water to win games. So you have to do what you have to do to win games, and he's doing that, right? Now, I think...
So are you saying you don't think James Harden and the Rockets, as constructed, can win a title?
Not with this style of play, it won't win.
The slander for some of these older guys that played in the early 2000s who maybe weren't as efficient is just a bit ridiculous to me, because back then it's an entirely different era with floor spacing. So when you have a guy like an AI, like a T-Mac, who were high volume shot takers with no floor spacing in that era, of course they're going to be a little bit less inefficient because they're taking more shots with no spacing. You add spacing to the NBA, you get more room to work. Players become more efficient. We've seen it over the years. I am in no way, shape, or form trying to disrespect the player that James Harden is. He's an all-time great player. I get all that. We understand all that. But let's stop talking about him like he is the greatest shooting guard since Kobe. Like, it's not true. It's not true. And some of the younger cats out there, y'all might believe that if you didn't get to watch D-Wade when he won that championship, if you didn't get to watch AI, if you didn't get to watch T-Mac like I did growing up, yeah, sure, you may say, that James Harden is better. But to me, it's just not even a debate. I mean, he can maybe crack my top 7 all-time shooting guards. That's just how I feel. Again, it's my opinion. At the end of the day, you can dispute it. James Harden fans, I'm sorry if you out there, if you're watching this video, I'm sorry, but he ain't him. He's not him like that. I watched James Harden over and over just come up short time after time after time with talent that he's played with. Come on, man. Like, I just don't get it. T-Mac and AI never had the talent that this guy has had. Now, I get it. T-Mac ain't never been out of the first round. That's a different topic for another day. Eye test tells me that T-Mac was a better player. Again, another topic for another day. AI got to a finals in 2001, carried basically me out there with the amount of talent that he had on that team in 2001. He got his team to the finals. James Harden has came up short time after time. Again, let me tell you some of the names that he's played with: Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, who I personally think is overrated, but I think he's still an all-time great point guard, but I think he gets a little bit too much credit, too much respect. Either way, he's played with multiple Hall of Fame players. He played with Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn. I understand he was hurt the 1 year. At what point are we going to start to look at James Harden and question, why does he constantly want out of a situation when he can't win? He forced his way out of Houston. He forced his way out of Brooklyn. He's in the process of forcing himself out of Philly. Why is no one talking about this? Everyone wants to talk about Dame Lillard and how he's trying to force his way out of Portland. Why is no one talking about James Harden consistently over the last 4 years has been on 3 different teams? Come on, man. At the end of the day, James Harden is not better than Dwyane Wade. I gave you the facts. I gave you the numbers. Call it what you want. Call me a hater. I don't care, man. D-Wade is a far superior player than James Harden will ever be. So is Allen Iverson. So is Tracy McGrady. James Harden is not a top 5 shooting guard of all time, and that's that. Whew, man. I'm going to pretty much leave it there. Not too much more to go into for this topic. Let me know y'all's thoughts down in the comments. Where do you see James Harden ranking all time among shooting guards? Would you take D-Wade over him? Would you take Harden over D-Wade, over AI, over guys like T-Mac, that sort of thing? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Leave a like on the video. And I will catch y'all next episode.